FPL is finally back, ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video we're going to go through my Game Week 1 team selection. And starting off my team selection for Game Week 1 is my goalkeeper, and it's going to be Johnson from Crystal Palace. He, in my personal opinion, is the best 4.5 million goalkeeper in the game, and his stock is only rising after Roy's kind of leaked Danish interview that came out today, where it pretty much confirmed that Gaeta is going to leave the club and Johnson is going to be the first choice goalkeeper. As well, to go with that, Palace, since Roy's appointment, have had the best XG conceded in the league and have only conceded 11 goals. It's a mixed bag of fixture, and I think what works quite well is if Turner is Nottingham Forest's first choice keeper, you have a great little rotation there going up towards pretty much all the way to game week 16. They're very easy, they're very nailed, but the thing is with this team that might change is we do have around 1 million in the bank, so we might look to upgrade to Onana, but I do want to keep that money available to move on people like Maddison, Diaz, Jota potentially, to kind of move around some other players within this team. So I think I'm going to go with Johnson. I always prefer going for the 4.5 million goalkeepers, as I just think they offer that little bit more value for money going over a 5 million goalkeeper. Moving into the back line, starting off we do have Estepinian in a lot of people's teams. Very template pick. I will be looking to move him off after game week 3 when Brighton's fixtures do turn, but I can 100% see why a lot of people have him in the team and why he is a very template pick for game week 1. Moving on to my next defender, again another player very template. It is Gabriel. He had the second highest XG amongst defenders last season, scored 3 goals as well. Arsenal's fixtures are great. Saliba's back as well, so you do expect them to be keeping a lot of clean sheets within those first 8 fixtures, which are absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just read a couple of them out, starting with the opening 3: Forest, Palace, Fulham, then United, but then it's Everton, Spurs, Bournemouth, and then it kind of tails off after that with Manchester City and Chelsea. But Arsenal were one of the best defences in the league for XG conceded and goals conceded last year as well. So very happy to have him, as he does offer a little bit of attacking threat. Moving on to our final defender, we are going for a 3 at the back formation, and it is Ben Chilwell. Again, a very template pick that a lot of people are going for, but if you look at his ownership in FPL, it's only at 12%. The opening fixture for Chelsea isn't amazing, but after that, you've pretty much got good fixtures up until game week 9, where at that point, you're probably going to be looking to hit that wildcard button as well. He's been very encouraging in pre-season with his advanced positioning and kind of his development under Pochettino so far. Obviously, he is an injury concern over the course of the season, but we kind of will have to wait and see how that one goes. He's at a nice price point as well. There are so many other defenders, but for me, he's on corners. He takes some free kicks as well. He has the potential and big upside this year, ladies and gentlemen. I think 3 at the back is the way to go, and Ben Chilwell is our final defender. Moving on to the midfield, we do have Eze. I think personally is one of the best 6.5 million options this year. He's going to be the talisman for Crystal Palace now that Wilfred Zaha has left. He's going to be on penalties, he's on free kicks, he's had a cracking pre-season where he's been absolutely cooking. Game week 1, Sheffield United away, they are losing players left, right and centre, and Dye's gone. It looks like Sander Berg's going for Burnley. I said this jokingly the other day that they're going to be challenging Derby for that low points record, but if they keep selling players, they literally are going to be like challenging them, because that squad is not Premier League quality. It's not even like top half Championship quality, to be honest, with the players that they have lost and brought in. So I think Eze is a great pick as well. Like I said, he's going to be playing 90 minutes on penalties, on free kicks. He is fitting that talisman theory that I always love to target with these players. He's going to be that key guy for me at 6.5. Moving on to a player who has not left any of my drafts. I think he was in the first mock draft I did, and hasn't just left the team since then. It is Bruno Fernandes. Had a phenomenal season last year, 8 goals, 9 assists. His XA was above 15 as well, so massive underachievement for him. Had a great second half of the season in terms of underlying data, absolutely smashed it. Had the most attempted assists as well. Obviously there are conversations around whether or not you go Rashford, Bruno or both. having that little bit of extra money in the bank, if Bruno isn't kind of cooking, then I can easily make that switch to Marcus Rashford as well, which is something that I kind of like to do at the start of the season. Have that little bit of money in the bank, a little bit of security policy, to be honest, to kind of move to players that I want to move if certain ones aren't going as well as Bruno. But again, another penalty taker, another set piece taker. It's always good to have them in your FPL team. Sticking with that theme is Bukayo Saka. Very similar to what we said with Gabriel. The fixtures for Arsenal are great. I have moved away from the triple Arsenal kind of players. I've moved Martinelli out from my last draft that I did. I just think that Community Shield performance wasn't amazing. I think he's going to potentially get subbed off in the 60th to 70th minute, where I feel Saka is a more 90-minute kind of man, and that is going to make a big difference with the amount of added time that we're going to see this year in football matches. So you're going to be getting like an extra 10 minutes per game. That's going to add up. Eventually, you think over 4 or 5 games, you're probably talking you're getting an extra half out of these kind of players that are the 90-minute men. And so far in that midfield, I think you're talking a lot of 90-minute men, and I can see Saka being one of them as well. Still looks like he's got his penalties and is just a fantastic asset for me to be owning in Game Week 1 and beyond as well. Absolutely smashed it last year, did Bukayo Saka. Finishing up our midfield is a very popular asset and a very template pick, and it's very template for a reason, isn't it, to be honest? It is Mbeumo. Again, another player who's going to be on penalties, is thriving when Tony isn't in this team. And I was kind of looking at data from kind of post-World Cup today, the players that scored the most points, and Mbeumo was 10th. Yeah, he was 10th for the most points scored amongst midfielders and forwards since the kind of resumption, since the World Cup had halted. So, you know, I've had a few questions like, oh, why is everyone going Mbeumo? Why are people picking this man? You know, I don't rate him. You look at the data sets he's putting up, 9 goals, 8 assists without penalties. Add penalties to that. You think Tony last year, I think he had 5 or 6 as well. You add that to his points totals. Add that to him playing at least 90 minutes as well. I think this guy is a fantastic pick at 6.5. And with us having that mill in the bank as well, I think it does offer alternatives. Maybe a Diaz, a Maddison. Obviously, Spurs fixtures are good after Game Week 2. So that is the switch available if Mbeumo or Eze isn't cooking. We've got that nice easy switch out, which is what I love to see. Right, moving on to our front line for my team selection today. We have gone for Erling Haaland. He's going to be my captain for Game Week 1 as well. I think he's the best captain that you potentially could go for. His EO is going to be massively through the roof. City have amazing opening fixtures, bar Game Week 2, where a lot of the possibilities do open for potentially a Salah Draft. We are going to talk about that at the end of the video. I'm going to show you my Salah Draft if certain situations do arise in the transfer market. We're going to talk about that at the end, so do stick around for that. But Haaland, for me, he was the go-to man. I know he didn't have a great Community Shield. I know there's that stat going around that he hasn't scored in his past 6 appearances. But if you look towards the back end of the season, he wasn't really playing regular first team minutes, especially once City had kind of wrapped up the league. He was very much in and out of that side, and the big games don't always suit the big players. Sometimes it's these players like Bernardo Silvas, the Gundoghans, these random little players that pop up in those big games and have the big moments. It's usually not the big guys, is it? And, you know, I think Haaland, with the good fixtures, I think he'll be back to what we see, and with him being this elevated price as well, it does raise questions. What do you do if he doesn't start cooking? That's something down the line that we will have to look at. With there being so many great options this year at very similar prices, it does offer a lot of opportunities if he isn't cooking. But for Game Week 1, I think he is essential and a player you need to be captaining for this game week. Moving on to my second striker, and this guy is a huge differential at the moment. It is Harry Kane, 14.1% ownership. He's come into the team over the past few days, mainly down to that preseason performance where he scored 4 against Shakhtar Donetsk. It does look like the potential buy-in deal has until Friday to be pretty much confirmed. Harry Kane said he doesn't want it to kind of drag out. If it's not done by the start of the season, he's not going to buy in. He's going to stay at Spurs. Postecoglou's side as well in pre-season have been very, very attacking, putting up so much attacking data. Shots wise, they've had 2 games where they've had plus 32 shots. I think Kane could absolutely cook in that system. Yes, the opening 2 fixtures aren't great. Game week 3 is Bournemouth, game week 4 Burnley, and game week 5 is Sheffield United at home. He is going to be my captain for that week. I kind of had a little bit of a look as well in terms of captaincy matrices, what my plans are between Salah and Kane over the opening 10 game weeks. For me, Kane, you kind of want to captain him in 5, 8, 9 and 10, whereas, you know, every other week you are going to be going for Haaland. So I definitely think if you're going for one of these premium assets, you do need to kind of identify key weeks where you're going to be captaining him, and that is it for me for Kane. Those 4 game weeks are the weeks where he's going to take the armband if he does remain in this squad, as it's all subject to change. If he moves, we move to a different draft, but the best place to find that out will be on my deadline stream on Friday, so make sure you've got your notifications on if you are subscribed. We'll be starting from about 4:30. I've not kind of decided what time yet, but yeah, do come pop in. I'll answer any of your questions as well. Right, finishing up our front line is João Pedro, a very template popular pick, and for very good reason. The opening 3 fixtures: Luton, Wolves, West Ham. Great. Potentially on penalties as well. It's still not like 100% confirmed, but from the preseason kind of performances, it does look like he is going to be the kind of penalty taker this year for Brighton. As well, they are a fantastic attacking team. We've just got to think back to last season. They were amazing at times, creating so many opportunities. João Pedro has looked very bright in pre-season, and the plan for me is just to downgrade him to a 4.5 after these opening 3 game weeks. That means we'll have 2 million in the bank to kind of move and utilize certain players within this team. That was the starting 11. Let's have a quick run through of the bench. We currently have Bentley, as it looks like the Wolves situation is a little bit of a mess at the moment. If Turner's moves and we don't get Ramsdale in, like Forest don't get Ramsdale in, I think that makes Turner the better 4 million goalkeeper pick, so I'll probably go for him. In terms of the midfield slot, we do have Anderson, a 4.5 million midfielder who will get game time this year after impressing in pre-season. Newcastle obviously having European football as well, so he's just going to rotate in and out. I don't think he's going to be kind of getting many game times, to be honest, within my team. I think it's a very good team where there shouldn't be too many rotation risks, and we've got Rico Henry on the bench, who is a very solid player with Brentford's good fixtures up until that price point. So many other players around that 4.5 million mark as well, and Gvardiol, a player that I am keeping my eye on over the first few weeks, seeing what minutes he is, because if he's at 5 million, it might be worth a cheeky upgrade to Henry. And then Baldock finishing off our side. Very happy to have him. He seems like one of the most nailed 4 million defenders that you can get within your side. So that is my team selection for game week 1, but I'm going to treat you in this video. We're also going to run through my Salah draft as well, which I do have on the go at the moment, as I think I potentially might have to use it if Kane does go or if certain circumstances change. So let's get into that. So here is my potential other team that I am thinking of maybe using. It is my Salah draft if we get news that Kane is looking to depart from Spurs and move to Bayern Munich. This is the team that I potentially would switch to. As you can see, the backline exactly the same. Very similar players in the midfield. We're just bringing Salah in for Anderson and obviously losing Harry Kane and keeping Haaland and João Pedro. So still a very good team. I do feel like it is a little bit weaker in the forward department, especially when we lose João Pedro in game week 4. I'd probably just drop him down. It means we'd have 2 million in the bank to spend, or 6.5. So if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is looking good in those first opening game weeks, then, you know, he might be a potential option in that forward area, or we might move to potentially upgrade one of our midfielders, maybe Mbeumo or Eze to like a Rashford. We've got that extra money, maybe even a Maddison as well. Stack out that 5 in midfield, maybe upgrade Baldock as well. You know, really strengthen out this team if circumstances do like point themselves in that direction. I think this is a very good draft, but with this I would be looking to captain Salah in game week 2. That is the way that I'd have to go down with this. That's the only reason that I potentially do this. I do feel like this 2 premium kind of draft has come about because of these guys like pre-season form. I put a tweet out earlier today as well talking about the kind of points post World Cup. Harry Kane led the way, then it was Mo Salah, then it was Erling Haaland. If you look at the data as well these guys have been putting up, it's absolutely ridiculous. Salah had the highest expected assists. He also had the highest X points as well, so highest expected points that he was going to get in there. you know, he's obviously putting up really good numbers and he is going to be a great asset this year as well. Liverpool looking very gun-ho at the moment, but for me, I am just slightly favouring Kane just that little bit. I feel he's just got that little bit more star power about him. I don't know, he seems to be the key figure within that Spurs team, where it seems like there's a lot of Liverpool players this year who could be that kind of alternative at that differing price, where I don't think Spurs quite have that. You know what I mean? I'm not fancying Son to like absolutely rip it up this year. I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like Kane is going to be the main man, whereas I'm not 100% convinced by Mo Salah. He could absolutely prove me wrong and I could get massive egg on my face, but the thing with going with Kane as well is there is that pivot available to Mohamed Salah. That was my Salah draft as well, that I might have to use if Kane does leave. Let me know what you think of it down in the comment section below. If you do have any questions about your team, get them in the comments as well, as I will be answering every single one. And we are trying to hit 1,500 subs before a ball is kicked. I think we're like 4-5 subs away. So if you enjoy the content and you want to be part of the deadline stream as well on Friday, do hit that subscribe button. But thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your day.